Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. So glad you are with us today. And joining me, two people that actually know what they're talking about. And that is Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, guys.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, fellas.
Please don't prove me wrong.
Alice.
This is going to be a good day because when I left the house, my kiddos were scrubbing the toilets. You know it's a good day.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can beat that one. I don't think I can come up with something better than that. That's quite a start to the show.
Yeah.
It is. And how old are they?
We got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 3-year-old was still sleeping, so he got out of it.
Well, that's pretty great, you know. And I think in this day and age, kids tend to go, wow, that could pull me away from maximum screen time here. And
yeah,
so
that's something that Dad does or Mom does, you know.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. So they have to get indoctrinated early.
It's good character building.
It is.
Well, I connect with it because I got my start. I was going to seminary. I didn't want to just deal with couples, and probably should have, but I wanted to deal with the really severe cases. And so I said, I want to go to work in a psych hospital. And everybody said, well, you can't go to work in a psych hospital. You don't have a license, or you're not a therapist. And so I got a job on the night shift as an orderly cleaning toilets for psych patients and alcoholics. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got really good at it. Sometimes I will actually clean a person's toilet when I go in their restroom because they need it. And I just think, and I don't even come out and say, hey, I just cleaned your toilet because it's really bad. But I do that because it's just something once you learn to do it. So your kids, you know, their whole life may be, you could say they're toilet trained. And I think that could be
It gives me meaning to potty train, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think this is one of the most interesting beginnings to a show we've ever had. You know, Steve, that is a part of you. I love your vulnerability, transparency.
And you now have an open invitation to our houses, too.
Yeah, come by.
Yep.
Yeah,
welcome anytime.
Yep.
Well, you know, it's a spiritual gift to be able to do that. Anyway, we're glad you're with us. Toilet training or not, we're here, and we love to clean up after things, you know, because a lot of times we're all human, and we have the great ability to mess it all up. And we've got some great workshops coming up we want to tell you about. We got 3 months here left in 2020. And I'll be glad to put this year behind us. I will really be glad. You know, I'm hoping that the new year brings a lot of new stuff. And so, yeah.
New good stuff.
I'm praying for that.
New good stuff.
That's right. Anyway, we've got 4 online workshops coming up, and we'll tell you about those. We've got some great resources for you. We're continuing with our Club New Life Library if you join that for $30 a month. And, you know, there's another thing that we're doing. You might just want to tuck this away. But about a year from now, we're going to go on a Rhine River cruise, September 16th through the 23rd. And that's in 2021, and about half of the rooms are booked, so you might want to come and join us. It's really going to be kind of the trip of a lifetime. And if you've ever been on a New Life trip, you know that a lot of the people in the cruise line say that we're the Christian group that integrates with all the things on the ship versus just being in a holy huddle. It's a lot of fun, and it's also meaningful. From the teaching. Some people went to Ireland. People said, I think the teaching was the best part of the trip. Ireland wasn't bad either. All right, we'll take this break. We'll come right back with Milan Yerkovich. He is the author of How We Love. There's a workbook that goes with it. We recommend it. We do our marital workshop based on it. You ought to get it and read it if you haven't. We'll be back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, October 10th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn. You're really glad you're with us here today, and we're going to go to the phones here in just one moment. Let me just tell you that at 5 o'clock we're doing this little show on Facebook Live, Going Deeper, and I'm talking about the soul and Matters of the Soul is what it's called, this little series that I'm in. And you can watch live 5 o'clock Eastern on Facebook, and then you can get caught up over on YouTube. That's where it goes after that. Matters of the Soul. All right, let's go to, how about we talk with Marie, and from Seattle, listens on her iPhone. I'm really glad that she does that. Hi there, Marie. How are you?
Hello there. How are you folks doing?
Doing pretty well today, but how about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I want to say thank you, New Life Live, for your service.
Well, thank you for thanking us. Why are you thanking us for that?
Just over the years, I have grown with you guys, and as a result of what I've learned from the shows, and you guys have helped me shape my career.
That's awesome. Well, I love that, and thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that. Appreciate it. How can we help today? What are you thinking about or wondering about?
Okay, I've been dying to ask this question, Steve. Why are male pornography addicts angry?
Boy, what a great question. And you probably heard me say that I've never met a guy struggling with sexual integrity that wasn't angry. And I think I want to hear from Alice and Milan, and then I'll pile on after them. What do you guys say to this question? And because you may have a little richer answer, mine's a little bit on the surface there. But Milan, have you thought about this? Why a guy dealing with sexual integrity would be angry?
Well, Marie, thank you for calling, and it's really a great question. Let me digress for a moment. Men have principally the largest secretion of a hormone in the male is testosterone from a sexual viewpoint, and testosterone has a lot of aggression, and it has a lot of pursuit built into it, and a restlessness, and a sort of a their eyes, and also males are visually stimulated sexually, and so you put those two things together, and so there is always, for many males, there's chronic frustration because the world is parading sexuality in front of us all the time. And then often relationships are such that sexual relations within a marriage are frustrating, as is any aspect of marriage. So I only say that the world is pandering, catering, and serving up pornography to males, and yet it's really not satisfying because it creates an appetite and an excitement, but there's no reality associated with the relationship, and then it's quite addictive. And what happens is if that's threatened, and Steve might want to talk about this a little bit more later, if that's threatened, then they get angry, because in many cases, some males think this is their only sexual outlet. So I think, again, females don't have that aggression because they have another set of hormones, over a dozen of them, that click on and off around a 28-day menstrual cycle, and they don't feel those kinds of feelings that men do. So I think men are stuck in a frustrated place unless they've learned to work that through.
Alice, what are your thoughts? I think those are really, really great thoughts. What about you?
Well, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Murray, I was thinking that when we live outside of God's will in a habitual way, in an addicted way, it just leads to destruction and some form of death.
Yeah.
And so living that way and seeking the illusion of comfort from such an unhealthy source as pornography and adultery, it breaks down, and it's not how we're designed to be comforted. It's not how we're designed to be in relationship. So things start to go so far astray because we're outside of God's will. And then there's the isolation factor as well, that it really shuts the man off from the healthy comfort he should be receiving in relationship from other people. And so it leads to sickness.
Yeah, I think all of that is absolutely true. And I just wonder how much of it is this too. A man is, as Milan said, the stuff's paraded in front of you. So a man is told this is what men do. And so you're expecting that this is going to produce something wonderful in your life. But what it does, you objectify and depersonalize a woman through pornography. It happens, doesn't take long. So now the person you're married to, you're separated from, you're cut off from that person, and then you see her and feel her differently. So the person that you were in a relationship with now is more objectified and has less fulfilling characteristics to you. Plus, we've talked about this, you get bonded to the pornography. So you're angry. The women in the pornography are not fulfilling you. Your wife, you've cut yourself off from her. You don't even know you've done it. You objectify her, depersonalize her. Now she's not doing it. Nobody is no female is having your needs aren't being met by any female. And so I think that creates an entitled anger that I deserve better. And you're not willing to take a look. Maybe it's the pornography that is the problem. And I think also a lot of times a man turns to the woman for sexual fulfillment, and he thinks that pornography is part of that. And many times he turns to the woman for sexual fulfillment that is supposed to fulfill every part of him, but it doesn't. And the reason he only looks to the woman is maybe his relationship with his dad was completely absent. And he doesn't even know that a dad's presence is important to him. I think, everybody's different, but I think you put all of these factors together in addition to, when I want to quit this, I can't. And you end up with an angry, entitled guy who doesn't know what happened to his love for real live women and his love for his wife that he picked because he thought she was more special than anyone, and now she's just not there for him.
And there's a comparison factor too,
Yes,
Steve, because when you look at pornography, the person that you're watching never says no. They never decline. They're never not well. They're never busy. They're never unavailable. And then they are actually masculinized females with respect to their attitude towards sexuality. And then a person who's addicted to pornography then looks at their spouse and says, why can't you be like that? Which is to believe a lie that the enemy, Satan, came up with, and so many people believe it.
How's that for taking 3 shots at one question? What do you think?
That's absolutely perfect. I'm
Now-
glad the shows are recorded because I can go and listen to it again. And this
Yeah.
is why I listen to the show.
Now, here's the thing, though. It's pretty amazing. When a guy isn't willing to deal with his pornography, if he could be willing to deal with the anger, it will lead him to deal with the pornography. And the other thing is, once he starts to deal with the pornography or the lust or whatever he does, it brings him to a place of needing to resolve the anger. If you're truly recovering, you come to a point where you take an inventory of yourself and you go, wow, I'm really angry. I'm bitter. I don't treat people well. And so you start to look at that, and it might start with, well, I need to recover from this thing that's become so pervasive. I can't get beyond it. All that is there. And Marie, because you've called, let me send you a restoration Bible. I'll get that to you, and I'll address it to you. And I'm thank you for calling. I hope that we've answered that question. And if you're a guy and you use pornography every day and you're not angry, let me know, because I've never met a person who was a regular user of pornography who wasn't angry or had to admit, I do have an anger problem. But I'd love to meet you, love to correspond with you. SteveSocial@newlife.com is a place where you could do that. All right, let's go. How about we come over here and talk to Nancy from Denver, Colorado. KRKS, what a great station that is. Hi, Nancy, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
How could we help you? What's going on in your life?
I just was listening to what you were saying to the other lady, and that was pretty much what I'm talking about here too, except not anger. I just want to know, how do I get my trust and respect back from my husband after sexual integrity issues?
Well, has he?
So he has.
Is he in recovery of any kind?
No.
Okay. Well, then you can't do that until he starts to get better. I wouldn't respect him if he's not willing to sacrifice whatever he's doing for the sake of you and connection and the marriage and being an honorable man.
He says he stopped. He's not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm. So
and that's all I got.
yeah. Well, stopping is one thing. Growing, maturing, that's something else. Alice, you ever thought about this? And just a guy says, well, I stopped.
Nancy, I feel protective of you with the timing of your question and the lack of evidence on your husband's part that he actually has stopped and is in a growth process to prove to you that over time he can become worthy of your trust and worthy of your respect. I want you to be cautious, to guard your heart, really against trusting him until he can show you with solid evidence that he's becoming a trustworthy man. How do you react to my concern for you and the timing of your question?
That's about what I feel. Exactly how I feel right now. I don't know how to trust him anymore.
And
he says it wasn't that much. He says whatever, but I don't know what everything is.
Nancy, is he demanding that you should be respecting and trusting him again because he said he stopped?
Not demanding, but he says that I just have to trust him.
That message is such a red flag for me, because demanding trust, saying you should trust him without giving you good reason to trust him, tells me he's not a safe man yet, and he's not doing enough to become safe. When you start to hear from him taking responsibility for what he's done, and even being willing to show you more evidence of what he did with pornography, and that he's getting structured help and being remorseful for how his pornography use has affected you, when you start to see those signs and they're consistent over a long period of time, then there's an opening for trust to begin to be rebuilt. Otherwise, I hope you remain very cautious and even guarded.
And this is makes Nancy a very good case for your husband going to Every Man's Battle.
Right.
In that, has he been to Every Man's Battle?
No, I suggested it, and he saw the price of it and said he's not going to do that.
Okay. Well, it's worth the price of admission, may I just say. The other thing is that he will learn what the damage that has been done to a relationship, how it has affected his ability to treat all females with respect and not objectify them. And respect and trust are two different things, and they must be earned. So I highly recommend it. And Nancy, one of the things, because I feel protective of you as well, one of the things that you may want to do is create a boundary. It's not an option. This is something that I require that you do. We'll talk about that more right after the break.
We'll be back after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, October 24th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us today on New Life Live, starting off a new month, 10-2. And then we used to add a 4 to that. That's when you were supposed to drink Dr. Pepper. 10, 2, and 4, I believe. Or was it 7 Up? No, I think it was Dr. Pepper.
No,
10, 2, and 4.
It was 10, 2, and 4. And I think you just dated yourself, and so did I, by knowing the answer to that question.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
So we are talking with Nancy, and Milan, you were going to follow up with some more.
Yeah, when a person violates a promise, a relationship, a contract, we can require things of them. And a lot of times people think I'm powerless or helpless, or I don't have the capacity to require. What do I have to hold over their head? And just to simply say, you know what, this is something I require out of respect that you do that. And to start there, and then to increase the pressure of what you would require. Because I don't know what truth is. One of the things that will happen as a result of Every Man's Battle is that they will have to formulate a disclosure statement and never accept the words of an addict as accurate about any addiction. You know, I stopped that last week. Well, what does that mean? And what was that you stopped? And like you said, Nancy, I have no idea what he's done or where he's been. And so to require more, to bring in other people, to bring in people from the church, to increase the pressure so that he would go to every man's battle and really make it, if you will, a personal battleground for Nancy.
And a man who's getting healthy has the maturity to be able to say, you have every reason not to trust me. And I don't even want you to trust me until you see the fruit of the change in my behavior.
Right. Yeah, I will earn your trust.
It would be a great thing if he could come to you and say, honey, I've been thinking about this. Well, of course you don't trust me, and I'm sorry I didn't respond with that kind of understanding. And so I'm going to do some things to earn your trust. And I'm going to send you the book Worthy of Her Trust. And just say, please read this. And it'll tell him, here's the path back to a woman's heart, your heart, if he's interested in that. That's what we want to see happen. But he may not be interested in that because he's so blinded by addiction has a life of its own. It's pretty amazing how powerful it is. Cunning and baffling is one of the great descriptions. And so I'm hoping and praying that his heart would be softened and be open, not to what he wants, but what you need. That would be a really amazing work of repair. Let me send How We Love to you, because if there's anything that's valuable in there over anything else, it's that repair stuff. I mean, you gain insight into yourself, how you attach and things like that, but how to repair a relationship. Pretty powerful stuff in there. Milan, do you have another thought?
Well, just that essentially if he refuses to do anything that Nancy asks him to do, then essentially what he's saying to Nancy is, you don't matter.
Yeah.
And that is a horrible, horrible reality for anybody to realize.
Sure.
My words don't matter. So, you know, it's just, and then I tell people in my office, you know, a legal separation is a lot more expensive and bigger hassle and it's going to cost more money than this weekend workshop. You know, if you have to increase the pressure to say, if I don't matter anymore, then maybe we need to get a separation so you can figure out whether I do or not.
There you go.
And I have said that to hundreds of people over the years. And in many cases, it really works because the other person goes, whoa, you mean business, don't you? And the price really is our marriage. And so, you know, this is a violation. It needs to be, Nancy, respect is earned. It's not just given. He has to earn it.
Yeah, and, you know, I think a lot of times you feel like you're in a place where you can't demand anything. You feel like a victim. You feel controlled and all. But I think you might be surprised. A lot of times guys are looking for someone to tell them what to do. I've seen in interventions that I've been in with alcoholics, I've seen kind of a big sigh of relief. They knew it was going to end sometime. And it could be them wrapped around their car wrapped around a telephone pole or something. But when they sense, okay, this is what's going to happen here. I'm going to have to go do this. There's a bit of relief rather than resistance. So I would also say to him, I don't know if you're aware, but myself and many other women feel so humiliated by pornography. We can't compete with that. You can't help but compare us to what you see there. And it's as hurtful to us as if you've had an affair. And that's real. And I need to know if you care about that. If you do care, then you'll find a way back to my heart. And you'll get the help that you need. Other than that, I think we're kind of in two different places here. You saying it wasn't that bad or I quit, that doesn't correct the deficit and the defect that led you to it to begin with. We'll take a break. We're going to come right back with more New Life Live. If you need some help, we sure would love to provide that for you. You could get it by calling 1-800-NEW LIFE, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's the number. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you could call us right now, 1-800-229-0950. 3000 to get on the program. 1-800-229-3000.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stu. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here and Dr. Alice Benton, Milan Yerkovich. Steve Arterburn here. Now we're joined by Larry Sonnenberg. Larry, what do you have for us today? I got to tell you, 99% of the time it's really good. So what is it today?
Oh, gosh. Today, it fits in with the calls we've been having. A week from tomorrow, we are doing Every Man's Battle online.
Yeah.
And so there's a testimony from a gentleman that recently went. He said, my thoughts about this workshop, they're very informative, great insight, enjoyed tracking back to childhood and understanding our hurts and pain which follow us into adulthood. It will be a journey, moment by moment, day by day, to restore my relationship with my wife. The statement that I heard at this workshop, God says to us men, just take care of my little girl, is very huge. I need to understand the little girl. If I see the little girl, I will, or it changes how I understand my wife and how I can better understand and love her, cherish her. Building blocks one at a time, repeat, honor, build your trust again. So I just love that.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Testimony. Yeah, see this guys' lives are changed, ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening. That's why we do what we do. God makes the changes. We set it up and we try to help guide and encourage, but it's what comes into their hearts and minds through the Holy Spirit that makes all the difference in the world. So if you can support a ministry like that, here we are. And if you could make a gift, if you could join Club New Life, single gift, Club New Life, however you want to do it. You could call us, you could go online, you could send us a check in the mail, whatever you can do to support New Life, it will help people. We'll call and thank you on behalf of those who you helped. So, and everybody
Larry,
yeah, go ahead.
I had an email from a guy who said, how dare you ask for money? What do you say when somebody asks, how dare you ask for money?
I ask why that offends them, because it's a passion. It's God says, ask, if you ask not, you receive not. And if all we're doing is giving opportunity, we're not twisting arms, we're not begging, we're making our needs known, and we are just saying to folks, the people with the resources, when you connect with a godly, kingdom-minded ministry, those two things collide, great things happen. And we want to continue the great things that have happened here for 32 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so now can I weigh in on that?
Sure.
I guess.
Okay. That's true what Larry just said. Number two, this is not radio that is paid for by advertisers. We, New Life, I say we, you, I come in here as a host.
It's a we.
So it's a we, have to pay for airtime, even though on the shows you listen to, there is advertising that does not pay for the show. And this ministry has to pay over $1 million, maybe $2 million every year just to put it on the radio. And that is why money is asked for, because without that money, we would never be on the radio. And that's really important for people to understand, that the sponsors that you hear when you listen aren't paying for it like secular radio.
And the money's not to line anybody's pocket. It's actually to go back in to provide more for our listeners and for our weekends. It's so that we can serve better and serve more people.
Yeah, there's a lot of generosity here, and there is no waste here. It is. Yeah, I've seen a lot of ministries over 40 years, and I have to say this is a very well-run ministry. So a lot of people are offended by people always asking for money. I remember one guy at a workshop raising his hand and saying to us, he says, when are you guys going to get your act together and stop asking for money? And I said, I was sitting between Larry and Steve, and I said, let me take this one.
You were holding me back.
I was holding Larry back, and Steve, I got this one. And I said to him, do you know how much this radio show costs? Who's going to pay? We have to let the people who enjoy it know that it costs money out of the ministry's pocket.
Yeah,
and that's the most important thing I can say. And we give away a lot of scholarships too.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. One of my favorite scripture it's kind of a strange one, but it says, "Hold back those staggering toward the slaughter." I think that's what we do. I think people are confused and they are connected to things that are destructive, and they are staggering toward the slaughter, and we come in and we do everything we can to pull them back. If you need some help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now let's go right back to our phones, and let's talk with a really nice biblical name, Lydia. How are you, Lydia? What's going on in your life today?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lydia from Washington, D.C.
Wonderful. How can we help today?
So my question in short is, how can I be emotionally independent?
Okay, what does that mean to you, emotionally independent?
I guess, so a little bit of background. When I was growing up, my mom is absent, and I came from a very broken-hearted family. I think that's how I came to Christ. There was just constant fight in my family, and my goal as I was a kid, I want to live as far as possible from my family. Now, since I'm away, I'm like financially, like live by myself, everything. But I just feel like there is deep longing for closeness, and also like for wanting to feel like I'm loved. But I just want to. Sometimes I show love to them. They don't appreciate. It's okay. But instead, they hurt me deeply. I told them, but I feel like if every time I try to connect with them, I feel hurt. I don't think they mean to hurt me, but it's just the way they communicate.
Yeah, well, let me comment on what you're saying. To me, I relate emotional independence is that I've established myself and I'm not needy or whatever. But what I think you're describing is really emotional disconnection, that you're really wanting to connect emotionally with somebody and you're hurt over the disconnection with your family. Would that be true?
I think so. I'm not too needy.
Yeah. No, and if you're emotionally disconnected, a lot of times you wouldn't see the need. You've lived without the connection for a long time. Alice, get us started here. What are you thinking?
Lydia, I want to adjust your phrase of emotional independence, because I think that we are designed by God to be emotionally interdependent with safe people. And so I think your process has to do with discerning who is safe enough for you to let your guard down, with whom you could be vulnerable, and at what level. And sometimes that cannot happen with our biological family unless we see that they're becoming safe people. So as you were asking your question, you brought to mind for me Psalm 68, where God talks about setting the lonely in families, because sometimes we have to seek that emotional connection in a spiritual family, or even to start with, sometimes only from a therapist, because maybe there aren't emotionally safe people around us. So it's a process of discerning and deciding when to share your heart with the people around you. And I'm so sorry your family hasn't, it's not, they've just not been safe. They've actually been destructive to you.
Right.
And that's so sad to hear that your family isn't a safe place. Milan, you have some encouragement or some insight for her?
Lydia, what you're describing is very common. We write about it in our book, How We Love. And when a little girl grows up in a home without a mom, or with a parent that provides intermittent connection, or they're there sometimes and they're not there at other times, what that does is it turns your longing on high for some consistent loving connection. As you said, I long for closeness. And but I want you to know that it's very common. You're not you're not all by yourself out there as the only sufferer of this particular malaise. It is something that's very common. What's important for you to understand is that your family, you're going to be drawn toward them, but they're not going to fulfill an expectation that's hard for you to even describe what it is you're looking for. They don't have perhaps they don't have the emotional intelligence or the relational intelligence to be able to give you a quality connection that would be meaningful. So what Alice just said a moment ago is really important, because we may not be able to find with our family a high quality relationship, and so we have to look for safe people that may not be a part of family. This could be in a small group. It could be, you know, Jesus wasn't married. He had 3 close disciples, Peter, James, and John, and so with them he could share his deepest aspects of intimacy. But I just want you to know you're not all alone, and we'd love to send you our book, How We Love, and I think it would help to describe that.
Coming your way. We'll be right back.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, October 10th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly. And it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we're going to send How We Love over there to Lydia. Hope that she can enjoy that. And I just want to mention that we have so many of these great intensives coming up. We mention them every now and then, but on tomorrow, we've got our 12 Steps to Happier, the Life Recovery Online Conference. I'm speaking. My wife Misty is going to be speaking. Becky Brown, others are going to be part of that. Every Man's Battle is October the 10th. Intimacy in Marriage, October the 24th. And Hope for a Woman's Heart is November the 14th. Then on the 5th, we're doing Brains, Boundaries, Battles in the Bible online, and there Dr. Amen is going to talk to us about how to maximize and utilize the brain that we have. Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend are going to talk about kind of the next level of boundaries where we just continue to grow within some healthy parameters. I'm going to talk about battles, the battles that we face with addiction and dependency, especially in the area of sexual integrity. And then Sheila Walsh is going to pull it all together right out of the Bible. I think you're going to enjoy it. We have counselors that are going to work with you throughout the day. It's not just like an online workshop. It's an intensive. I think it could change everything for you. Any of those you can call about 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now let's go to, and by the way, we've got another program right after this, so hold on if you're on the line, but let's go to Diana, Washington, D.C., WAVA. Hi, Diana. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys? I love you guys. I don't have words to describe my love for you. So
we need love.
I just say, I love you, wonderful guys. Thank you. I have a thank you that I want to give to you guys, especially Steve. I remember there was a program where a widow came on and she said she was lonely and she didn't know where to go to meet nice Christian guys, especially during the COVID. And you, Steve, recommended a dating site. And I was in the kitchen listening and I stopped and I said, And you were describing how safe it was and you just laid it all out. And I want to tell you that I obeyed you and I have met the most phenomenal guy. And guess what? I'm 66.
There you go. Oh my
Diana.
goodness. Well, here's what's great. You did it. You've had a good result, and then now you've wanted to share it, and I think you might inspire some other people to figure it out. Diana, how did you keep yourself safe? I think that's the big question for a lot of folks. How do you keep yourself safe and not vulnerable to be taken advantage of?
You got to pray and ask Jesus to just download in your spirit. Okay, God, is this guy telling the truth? Is this guy married? Is this guy separated? And you have a choice. They ask you, do you want a Christian guy? You say yes. Do you want a smoker? You say no. Do you want a drinker? You say no. And I never liked any man if he was divorced or separated. So
well, that separation thing would definitely be a big negative if they were just separated.
A big negative, yes. And then I remember you spoke on divorce and remarriage and how it just kind of gets worse and worse the more marriages you pile on. So I was listening to you and your program, and I did what you said. And the gentleman he said, I just want a nice Christian friend. And I'm like, yes, he wanted a nice Christian friend. And I prayed. I'm like, okay, Lord, is this a safe man? Is this a good man? Let me know. I'm not going to give out any of my personal info. And I felt a release from the Lord, and he is just very, very nice.
Wonderful. Well, that is such great news to hear. I'm going to send you, is this the one? Because I'm sure this will develop into something. Now, Diana, thank you for calling us, and thanks for the encouragement that is. Now, where are you with this person? Have you met in person? Are you dating? What's going on?
No, I haven't met in person because, like I say, I still have feelers up. But he calls me once in the morning, and this afternoon we just read Proverbs 28 together over the phone. And I shared with him how you can take a proverb a day for a vitamin. And so he said, well, how about you and I reading the proverb of the day together? So I just did that with him an hour ago before he went to work. And he said, when I come home tonight, we can discuss what we got from that proverb. So I'm still putting my feelers out, and I'm praying while I do.
And have you thought about how to keep yourself safe when you finally meet this person? Have you thought about that?
Yes, sir. I asked him, I'm like, for our first meet, I'll bring my son. He real big.
There you go.
I was like,
He's really big.
He's big.
I love that, Diana.
The best dating advice that we have is bring a big son.
Yeah, I'll bring my bodyguard with me, and
well, I'm going to send you.
He'll be our chaperone.
Yeah, I'm going to send you this little book. Is this the one? I'll send you a restoration Bible. You hold on. We'll get those to you. I'm so glad you called. And, you know, really, we talk about it often, about trying to get yourself connected to some folks. When you get out of college, you're kind of out of the dating world there, and so we can be isolated. There's some really crummy people online at sites, and there's some really great people, and you just have to find them. And I would say either this guy's a good guy, or he's really good at being deceptive, because that sounds like a genuine gentleman to me. But you never know. And when you meet up, I think it's always good to do that with a friend. Very, very, very good thing. All right. Thank you for joining us today. Now, I hope and pray that something we've said might have made some kind of a difference to you. And I'm going to try to get to all these callers that are online here. Hold on. But if you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE is that phone number. And we'd love for you to call it today and say, hey, I want to be part of that life recovery thing that you're doing tomorrow. Really, if you've never understood what the 12 steps in the Bible have to do with each other, it'd be a great thing. If you want to grow deeper in your 12-step work, it'd be a great thing if you joined us. I hope and pray that you will. But really, what we try to do in a life recovery conference is show people that everybody ought to be involved in a growth plan. And for me, that always involves a third party, a counselor, but also a path. And the 12 steps are a very, very great path. And if you haven't heard it many times here, when Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob were creating or writing down or trying to solidify the steps, they said, we got them from the good book. And especially 1 Corinthians 13, the book of James, and the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes. And if you look at those steps, you just see those things all the way through it. So I hope that if you've been curious, you'd come if you want to grow deeper. And my wife Misty is going to be talking about what are the best practices in a life recovery group, and how can we facilitate the healing of other folks. She's done groups for years and is really good at it. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out about that, and also Every Man's Battle. Milan and I on the 24th with Kay, we're going to be doing Intimacy in Marriage Intensive along with some amazing counselors. It's all online, and it's a great way, most affordable, don't have to travel, and it's COVID-free. That's what we love about that. I hope and pray that anything that you wonder about New Life, you just call and ask us. We've got books, we've got CDs, tips, therapists all over the country, and we've got workshops. And we've got people like Milan and Alice. Hope you'll join me again here tomorrow on New Life Live. You take care, and we'll see you next time. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's the number to call.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.